Today, lots of people talk about 2025. We are some of those people. This is ChillPoint.
Now, I thought you were going to say, but nobody ever does anything about it.
Oh.
Like,
Lots of people talk about 2025, but nobody ever does anything about it.
Stop it, you mean?
well, I mean, we still have a few days left before we have to, like, throw it in the dumpster, right?
Right. Whoa. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to a very special Boxing Day ChillPoint.
Right, it is Boxing Day.
And it's special because there was no checkpoint this week.
Yes.
And there was no checkpoint. Wait, no. There was no checkpoint this week. There was one last week. But no checkpoint this week. And we're not going to have another ChillPoint before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we were like, hey, why don't we use this ChillPoint to not necessarily talk about like the last week's video game news, because let's be honest, everybody was asleep at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But let's do a little bit of talking about 2025 in general, and maybe also, or actually realistically, probably more so, talking about our 2025 in terms of gaming.
So we're going to treat this kind of like it's not like a year in review, but it's kind of like a broad
More like a
strokes of the year.
A seance. No, wait. That's you do after things are dead. A memorial.
Retrospective.
Jesus.
I don't know.
I didn't realize it was so late where Gapfeller was watching Heather and I yesterday.
Yeah, Heather just told me that you guys were streaming for 10 hours.
Oh, yeah, didn't
Yeah.
take any ad breaks. Very responsible streamers.
Great.
Yeah. Jesus.
But, well, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
It was fun.
It was a blast.
We probably could have gone longer.
I guess for anybody who didn't tune in for that, and I don't know who that would be in this audience, I played Yakuza we played Yakuza for 6 hours. Yeah. I did the bulk of the stuff because I was also doing
you did all the fighting
fighting
stuff and whatnot. We moved back and forth on the mini games.
Yeah, but we basically went from minigame to minigame to minigame as much as we could, except that there was one point, this is, I guess, spoilers for Yakuza 0, again, it's been out forever, where I was raising my friendship with the girl who works in the bowling alley. And then at a certain point I was told, this is days ago, she's like, you can't come in, like, I can't go back in there anymore. I have to move the story along before I can go back in and talk to her. And I was like, okay. So I moved the story along quite a bit, and I was like, okay, I'm at the point where I've purchased every property I possibly can at this point in the game. Time to go into the bowling alley and see if I can actually have my moment. And I go in and it's like everything's normal. I'm like, that's weird. And she's like, oh, we're having a promotion. If you can bowl a turkey, you can win a turkey.
Yeah, and of course, Beach was like, oh, it's because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
This game is doing a Christmas thing, and it's not.
Well, I thought it was appropriate for Christmas anyway. But I was like, it's super weird that it's doing turkey for turkey kind of situation.
There are games that do it, though. Rogue Legacy 2, if you play in October, keeps all the Halloween stuff out that you can sometimes get randomly. And I'm pretty sure in December it keeps Christmas stuff out.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So a quick shout out to Calculated Uncertainties, those 10 gift subs.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, ultimately what happened is then I had to bowl again. But then she was like, "Oh, but if you're going to bowl again, you have to bowl a turkey, which is 3 strikes in a row."
We spend a lot of time just bowling.
Yeah, and I rolled
yeah.
2.9 strikes in a row, and then Heather rolled 2.9 strikes in a row.
There was like a very.
I felt like we were getting screwed.
There was a point where we would roll 2 strikes, and then the third strike, a single pin would always remain. Like, I'm pretty sure the computer had it out for us.
Yeah,
I see.
And then Heather rolled 4 strikes in a row, and
then I got good.
And then she got good faster than
I did. And they're like, sorry, that wasn't a turkey. Doesn't count.
No, but we won, and we closed out the moment, which you win a chicken, which is very funny because she gives you a live fucking chicken from this bowling alley, and as we're talking, she said, she's like, well, if you want, like, he's like, I was hoping I would get like a cooked bird. And she's like, oh, that's a good point. I can do something about that. I'll just take it in the back and cook it. And he's like, you're going to, you have a way to cook chicken here at the bowling alley? And I'm like, you have a way to slaughter a live turkey in a bowling alley? Right, or a live chicken anyway. And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I grew up on a poultry farm. And I'm like, if you grew up on a poultry farm, then why did you like mistake this chicken for a turkey? So it was the story was all over the place.
It was fun.
I see.
Yeah.
But we wanted a chicken friend.
It was fantastic. And then I caught a crab when I was fishing, which was lovely. We did a lot of dancing, and we showed up a dude from Osaka who was the best dancer in Osaka, maybe, who knows. But we outdanced him after he kicked our ass 4 times in a row.
I bet a crab would be really good at DDR.
Yes.
Extra legs.
Yeah.
But can they set off the sensors? Giant crab would
Big
be
enough
great
crab,
at
yeah.
DDR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we did that, and then after we'd played about 6 hours of that, I said, okay, I'm gonna go eat some. We're done doing this. I'm gonna go eat some food. And so then Heather was like, naturally, let's play Silksong. So she started Silksong.
I started a Steel Soul run for fun.
Yep. And then after that was done, then I started up my game because I wanted to try out the game controller, the new game controller with that. And but where I was in the game is at the last fight. So we told everybody, I gave everybody about a minute. I'm like, you need to understand that I'm about to go into the very last fight of the game. So this is heavy spoilers. Like if any one of you in the chat has a problem, you need to say so now. Nobody rang in to say, please do not do that. So we're going to put, Heather's going to put a table of contents on the video and a warning to be like, there are heavy Silksong
chapter
spoilers.
markers.
Yeah, that's right. But let everybody know that
We're just
happened.
doing that for sanity's sake.
Then we played Suika Game, which is now 2 players. And then we played River City Girls 2.
Yeah.
Which is a side scroll. It's a Final Fight style beat 'em up.
Yeah.
That also has RPG elements.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a blast. That's what that was like. I'm letting everybody else know this too, in case you're like, well, what was that like? This is what we did.
Yeah, and you can check out the VOD for that in a little bit, probably.
Yeah,
Possibly in a few days.
it might
It's
take
a
a
long
little
VOD.
longer to get that one online because I do want to put some chapter markers in for
Although,
for sanity's sake. That's a long VOD.
I guess no ad breaks though. That makes it easier.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, talking about obviously a lot of different organization, a lot IGN and GameStop or GameSpot and GameStop too probably. All the video game news outlets
Right.
have been doing their year in review or the best X of 2025.
Oh yeah. Here's our ranking of games,
Which is terrible for us in the context of ChillPoint because that's not really that. It's like,
I mean,
what did IGN give Game of the Year to is not like a
we could
big
judge
news
them.
item.
We could be judgy about it.
yeah.
It's
We
true.
could say this is this is their top game of the year.
We can use our opinions
I mean, it is
to
definitely a good
evaluate their
game.
opinions.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, the numbers, the people are coming down on a lot of the same things. Cloud
Yeah.
Obscure, Blueprints. Heather and I were just looking at the Polygon top 50 games of 2025.
we were trying to see if there were any games we had not heard of.
There were a few here.
Because this year's been a lot. So
And I think you have to, like, the thing is when anybody does these, and this is important because how Polygon built their list, is they asked all of their individual, like they asked all their writers and editors to do individual ballots ranking their best games themselves. And then they combine all those ballots together to say, well, then here's where all these games would be rated on this list. So it is like they did a ranking, and it is based on those people are the ones that they asked, who are, people who are
yeah,
spending
I mean
a lot
that
of
makes
time.
sense.
But it does mean that, like, when you look at the list, you're getting a ranking, but you should never think of it as like the definitive ranking.
Well, yeah. And I mean, let's see if there's actually, here we go. So, for instance, Ghosts of Yote ended up higher than number 50 on most lists, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's just, And so we can. I don't know if we don't need to necessarily go through
don't
all
need
these,
to go
but
through
But
all
like,
50.
but showing those two together, like, kind of
Yeah.
making a thing of Ghosts of Yote, AAA game, everyone's really excited for, sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, that kind of thing. Rated number 50 on this list, but Strange Jigsaws, which I have never heard of,
I
ranked
have.
49th.
But I can definitely tell you, I'm surprised it's on that list because there's probably not that many of the writers who've played it.
yeah.
Yeah, so for some reason, this had to come in higher for some reason.
I mean, if we look at, so, it's interesting, this Polygon list put Clair Obscur number 6.
Sure.
Which I think is fine. Because a lot of these games are going to be down to your personal tastes at some point, right? Mm-hmm. And not everybody cares for the RPG turnstile thing.
Yeah. And also, we don't know when ballots were submitted. So if there was like anybody on staff who's like, oh, the poisoning of AI or whatever, like that kind of attitude. If it's like, if that affects my overall feeling about the game, then you don't know when that's coming in either. Mm-hmm. So by and large, I'm sure this is divorced from any recent news or any other things that
I
I've been
would guess
reporting
so,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Avowed at number 5. Indiana Jones Great Circle, which I believe was a December 2024
Yeah,
game.
I take a little bit of an issue with it because that was from December, but at the same time, I also know that this would have been part of the Game Awards because of how when their cutoffs are. So, close enough.
Yeah. I mean, this is what makes this clear that this is a video game journalist top list.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing to say against the game, but it's it's a 2-hour.
It's an indie game. It was on
experience.
It was nominated for Games for Impact, I think.
Yeah, Despelote being here is kind of, and being number 3 on the list, it's like, oh, this is probably a game where everybody who worked for Polygon had an opportunity to play this or thought, oh, I should play this, or they're trading information back and forth. You should play this, like that kind of thing. And, that must be everybody's their own individual enjoyment with it. I think it's interesting that, a 2-hour game is on there, but it's like the bulk of people playing video games are not kind of wandering outside of the things that they kind of have their heart set on. So you probably don't have a ton of people playing a game like that, which is why these lists I think are also important, because it's like when you're mixing in something like that with Hades 2, where more people have heard of Hades 2 or more people have heard of Silk Song or Expedition 33, you're like, wait, they rated this better? Maybe I should try this. That's kind of nice too.
Yeah. Hades 2, I would certainly put that very high on my personal list.
Nice.
I was playing it this morning.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was sleeping.
Also a good thing to do.
Yeah, I like that. It was really
Yeah,
good.
I'd probably put it in my top 10 for the year, I think.
I'll have to play it still.
Super, super fun. Silk Song was on the list earlier. Blueprints, they put it number 1.
Yeah.
Which I personally find interesting. I actually just recently played. I won't say I beat it, but
Right.
I got to the credits.
Oh, you got the first ending.
I got to the 46th
Room 46.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first goal of the game that it tells you.
Which is where the game truly begins. or whatever.
Pretty much.
Silk Song is number 8.
Yeah, I have to say that I very much have enjoyed playing Blueprints.
Yeah.
I having got to the 46 room and then done some things after that.
Okay.
And kind of taking my time in terms of writing down things and solving puzzles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I very much enjoyed it, but there's some aspects of it that I found frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And as you continue to play, especially once you continue to play after the most sort of obvious the most obvious goal has been completed,
Right.
the frustrating parts start becoming more frustrating, like becoming more prominent.
The RNG
see, I
becomes a
see.
little bit more.
And yeah, it's like
You have to really go into each each session with the idea that like probably like a list of a few things you're trying to do,
Yeah.
and with the aim of probably abandoning the one that you want to do based on what's coming up, because otherwise you're just gonna, and you have to kind of try to commit to the one that you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because if you try to split too much, you're just gonna run out of steps or something else is gonna happen.
Oh, it's like playing Mahjong.
No.
The
mean,
I
it's-
understand blueprints. That's the
Yeah,
main
okay.
difference for that.
I mean, the idea of like, if you have the thing in mind, if you're like, I'm going to start a session and there's these 3 things that I want to try to accomplish in this session, and I don't know which one's going to be the one that I actually want to pick until I see
Right,
the rooms. And then you see the rooms, you're like, guess I'm doing number 2, and then you go ahead and you do your second thing that you wanted to do that day instead of the first one.
I did one of my worst runs for blueprints, Paul. I got like there's like a thing outside that you can that'll give you like where you pick your extra room, right?
Yeah,
or whatever. I got some sort of thing that gave me like dead ends are going to be more likely.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I walked in and I was like, great. And I went forward. I think I got maybe 1 room up, dead end. And I was like, that's fine. I went to the left, got a dead end. And I went to the right and got a dead end. And I was like, well, this run is done.
It's like, well,
Oh, well.
and then when you finish that run, does the name of the house like Tiny Cottage?
I think so. Maybe something
Yeah.
like that. I can't remember.
Very, very rude house.
Yeah, that was like, I that was the shortest run I'd ever had. And I was like, it'll be fine. Like, sure, I'll just do some re-rolls or something. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
And I did. I re-rolled stuff and still got like
reached the
all dead ends because the other stuff cost stuff to do or something.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, it was pretty bad.
But the so anyway, and yeah, my personal pet peeve with blueprints was and trying to avoid spoilers and stuff, but there were a number of puzzles that I really enjoyed. Like
Right.
the process of solving the puzzle was like, this is really cool. I'm enjoying this. I feel like I'm being super smart. And I'm like, aha, this goes here, this goes here. I'll look at these, these line up. This is going to be great. Writing stuff down in my book, doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
I work out the final puzzle, and it's like a clue to solve a thing that I've solved like on the second day. And I'm like, what? How? It's like, how could anybody possibly have solved this puzzle that I'm doing, that I did?
If they hadn't done...
If they hadn't already done that other thing, of which there are already like 5 other clues how to solve that
I
thing.
Right.
think because of how stuff is laid out, there are definitely more clues to other things, and maybe you can kind of figure them out.
It definitely...
And then there are, and then there are some ones that are so obscure that it's like, oh, what you mean you couldn't figure that one out? Oh, you should have known that corresponds to this, which corresponds.
I mean,
to
I
this.
remember talking to Joe about one room where I was like, oh yeah, the clue to that was in the painting that's like in the middle of the room, and he's like, what? Because he just went around and like touched everything
Right.
and made things show up
Rather than
And-
look for things or
and
look at things.
well, I mean, he probably looked at it, but it's a very small like detail, and I was like, oh, I was just kind of looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's weird, and I went and I did whatever.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I also fluked into that before.
Yeah.
And then I found the clue afterwards. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that's fine. I think it's fine to be able to kind of set some stuff in motion and not know why you did it,
Yeah.
but then find out that look, no, there was a clue there.
And then there's also and Blueprints also has this sort of larger, not larger, but like it actually has like this sort of rather complex narrative that you sort of learn about,
Right.
and about sort of the actual like world that you're in, and the rather actually extremely complicated machinations of the various like governments that are involved in stuff, which feels slightly weird to be in this like weird puzzles
So
game.
you're also kind of trying to understand the world around you.
Right.
Because you're in kind of a fictional world. There's a lot of books you can end up reading that tell you about stuff. Books that have redacted information because of political cover-up things.
So you're trying to, like, the fact that the house itself rearranges itself is like, this is a completely natural thing that could be happening within this world because it is not based on the real world.
No, I mean, this is a funky, weird house.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Within the world.
Okay, the world itself is fictional, but also the house is a fiction within the fiction.
Yeah,
oh,
the house
that's
is also
fantastic.
The whole house is also just a weird house. But yeah, but there is that aspect, in games like this, and it actually reminded me a little bit of I've been playing Outer Wilds with my brother.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of other games we played in 2025, technically I haven't actually been playing Outer Wilds. My brother's been playing Outer Wilds. And we like share the gameplay over like Discord.
Okay, yeah.
And so I've been like, what? Look at that! Go up!
So you've been watching him control it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've sort of, and solving puzzles together and
Nice.
stuff. It actually works surprisingly well.
Okay.
But anyway, because he doesn't live in Victoria. But it's this thing where you find a clue, you solve a puzzle and find a thing, and your reward for solving the puzzle is information about the world. Mm-hmm. And you reading it, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. But I was kind of hoping for like a code to a safe. You're like,
Yeah.
It's like, yes, all these people are very interesting. They have their own internal lives. They have jokes. They play with each other, all this stuff. Yes, but what is the freaking code to the safe?
Right.
Why don't you write that in your letters to each other?
I mean, that is funny, right? We have I think everybody has kind of argued for years that as the technology has moved on, that people have been like, well, we can make things more complicated, make it feel more realistic, and you're like, yes, but ultimately, I just want the trappings of the video game, the clue that helps me solve the puzzle. So
It's like, dearest John, I know that you are off to the war, but I missed, and I miss you, and I hope you return. But in case I'm not here when you do, the code to the safe is 3156.
yeah,
Bane. Or like at one point in I guess mild spoiler stuff, but at one point in Blueprints, you get the information that like dates are important.
Oh,
okay.
This one, yeah.
Okay.
But because of the way that the documents in the game are, they're designed to be sort of like real things.
Yeah.
Almost everything has a date on it.
Which
Like,
is not true
there's
of a lot of
yeah.
things.
Well, but there's like contractor invoices.
Oh, that
there's
kind of
like
stuff, yeah.
diary entries. And the diary entry has a date on every single page.
Right.
And it's like, and there's books that have dates, and there's all these the idea that a date is important doesn't necessarily. And then later on, you get a note that's like, I hope you're not looking at just all the random dates on things. You're like, well, okay. So it's only certain dates that are important.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's
probably the only game that I've made as many notes on a game as I've ever made before.
I definitely have, yeah.
Yeah, I've played other games where I've done notes and stuff, and I enjoy that. This is definitely the one I've done the most, and probably also taken the most screenshots possible, because suddenly it's like, just taking notes is not going to be good enough. I need to look at the thing properly.
Well, and like I don't know which part of the thing is actually the part I'm supposed to be noting down.
Yeah, the number of times I had puzzles that
It's
I
like,
was
ooh.
like, okay, I think I got it. I think I know the important information I need to be keeping track of. So I'm going to keep track of this.
Right, that.
And then I find the puzzle, all that stuff actually corresponds to, and it's like, okay, that was important, but I wrote down the wrong information.
Yeah, it was actually the stamp on it that was the important bit, not the thing itself.
Yeah, I do like. There's a library you can find that, and there's like a book that kind of has, almost like progress in the game that you've done. So it'll show you like stamps you found on envelopes, and like various different any of the tools that you found or made show up in there. Like it's almost like you're filling out a bit of a scrapbook, and I do find that pretty neat.
And 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 also, just as another like slight pet peeve with Blueprints, I said again, excellent game. There's a note that you find very early on, and it's one of the sort of meta things about like how to how to actually play the game. There's a note that you find that's like, hey, there's lots of complicated stuff in this game. You should probably be taking notes.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And I'm like, okay, cool. You're not gonna say build in something to the game to allow us to take quickly take shots and make notes on them, or maybe have like an in-game journal or some some sort of thing to help with that. No, you're just like, hey, you should buy a book.
Yeah.
Buy a journal.
Have you considered starting to actually write shit down?
Which, Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think that's kind of on purpose, but
anyway,
I might end up bouncing off this really hard.
Life. But
oh well.
Anyway, in terms of, I mean, maybe this brings us into discussions of other games that we have played and enjoyed, our top games of the year.
Well, Heather has a journal.
Let me look up what games I played this year.
And all I have done is just whatever I have at home on the Switch. I'd have to try to remember.
Silk Song, Yakuza. Is there anything else?
I mean, well, God, because I played Yakuza Kiwami. I know I played that pretty much all year, all the way through, and that was a blast. Did as absolutely much as I could do without losing my mind, which is basically I went to go play shogi, and then I was like, man, fuck this game. Like, I'm not gonna do this. I cannot even begin to give a shit about this, and like other things like Puzzle Pool and like all sorts of other stuff that's built into the game. And because ultimately, the only reason to do a lot of those things is to actually just get the completion achievements for them.
Right.
So it's like, did you? How many of these times did you go out in mahjong? And I'm like, man, I will go out the 10 times you want me, but I will not try to get a Riichi Ipatsu. Like it's like that shit's not gonna happen. Then the first time I played Yakuza 0, and I went to go play mahjong, not like the first day, but it's like when I went to go play mahjong in Yakuza 0, I sat down for my first go round. I'm like, I'm gonna play some mahjong and see how I do. In my first game, I went out with a Haneman, which is like, you have to go out with like 5 points or 6 points or whatever. But it was like the first time I played, I'm like, oh shit, you can do this. It is possible to just luck your way into scoring incredibly high.
I mean, I think the idea of the like, you do the thing to get the achievement or get the 100%, like
completion point,
completionist thing. There's an interesting aspect of that, which again comes up with Blueprints and comes up with a lot of these other games, where like you've done the sort of you've got the
what
credits.
you might call a main story,
the main story.
The main goal that's set in front of you.
What Time to Beat would say, main game completion, whatever.
Oh God.
And then there's sort of, and then there's extra stuff what might be called side quests or extra quests and stuff. And there comes a time often when I'm playing games, for me anyway, there's this sort of slightly existential thing, right? Of like, I'll be playing a game, and I'll be like, you should be like, well, I've done the like main objective.
Yes.
So like, why am I... it's like, why am I playing? Like, why am I playing this?
Yeah.
I've
already colored in all the panels. Why am I now doing the background? And it's like, you don't need to color in the background. You've done the main panels. You see them in the pictures. It's like, yeah, but if I color in the background, everything looks really pretty.
And it's like, but then, it's like, the only thing I'm getting out of this is fun gameplay, I guess.
Well,
and you're like, well, I guess that actually is a good reason to do that. But you sort of, it's like, wait, it's like, I don't need this upgrade. I've already beaten the boss, so why am I doing this?
Yeah, I mean,
because it's fun.
When it comes to Blueprints, what I've heard is that it has many good off-ramping points.
Where you're like, okay, I'm happy now.
You're happy with the ending you have, and you're okay with just leaving it.
I mean, by and large, I think what drives interest in games in any game in the first place is novelty. And so if you're playing, like I'm thinking of Silksong in this situation, right, where it's like I didn't want to beat the game until I had 100%. And when I did crack 100% finally, I was like, is that everything? Is there a 101? Is there just like going to be one little thing where it's like I'm missing something?
Okay.
And then, but when you look into it and you're like, no, actually, you did find everything. You can go ahead and do the last fight now, or you can do the last 6 fights now because you've lined up all these boss fights in a row. There is this sense of I'm doing all these other things maybe to avoid the fighting, but also because of the novelty of getting to go see a new place and do a new thing. And I feel like that's the interesting part of playing any video game is like, I'm here because I want to see or experience something new that I didn't see the other day. Kind of like if you're reading a book, it's like you read the book to the end. You don't just read to the point where it's like, oh, there's that's the guy who killed whomever, and you slit the book and you move on with your life.
You
It's
don't
like
read the epilogue.
you don't read the
whatever,
epilogue. You
yeah.
read the epilogue because you're like, but now I want just a little bit more of what happened.
So just to explain one thing, in case, for one thing, when it comes to Silksong and I think Hollow Knight as well, not everything you do counts towards the completion percentage. It's a specific list of things in order to get that 100%. The other thing and I know people have been getting this confused between Hollow Knight and Silksong, is in Hollow Knight, when the base game came out, you could only get 100%. As they added DLC, the percentage of what you could get, they would add percentage points. So I think now the top thing you can get is like 112%. So I have heard some people getting confused in that. So they'll talk about Silksong and they'll be like, oh, well, I think I only got like 100%. I didn't do like the 105 or whatever. I think it only currently has 100%, but I expect that when they add like Sea of Sorrow and other DLC, if they do more, it will probably do the same thing.
Which I'm not a fan of that kind of additive thing, because I'm like, what that means is that you could end up doing all of Sea of Sorrow, for example, or you could do all of the Hive, but not other parts of Hollow Knight. You could maybe end up not exploring part of a map or something.
You'd like to keep them separate.
Yeah, because and then you end up with 100%. Like I did 100%, and it's like you missed an entire like 6 rooms that had some interesting things in it. So
I get where you're coming from.
Yes.
But for the idea of getting 100% achievement in the game when DLC gets added, now that means you get to choose what things you do want to do. And in a game that's difficult for some people...
if I had to do the Path of Pain in order to 100%...
Exactly. Yeah. Now you don't have to do certain things if you want to try other things in order to get that achievement if you want.
Right.
I also really like the idea of saying, oh, well, I got 108%. So if I talk to someone else and they're like, well, I got 105, we have a vague idea that we may have done different things.
Right.
There's the like, whatever those things where it's like the regular, the evil, and like the chaos version. Like the regular version is the like adding the extra percentage on, so you get like up to 112%.
Yeah.
Maybe another version is like just tracking them totally separately, like have one up to 100%, and then the other one,
how much of that you finished.
The other one, how much you finished.
You can kind of get that in...
Sorry, finish your thought, Paul.
Oh, sorry. The chaos mode would be you go to 100%, the DLC comes out, and suddenly you're at 90%.
Oh, that would suck so bad.
Yes, yeah, I don't want to do that at all.
Like it's always out of 100%.
Yeah, which is true. The most you can get, mathematically speaking.
Yeah, I have seen PlayStation trophies do that kind of thing where it has like all the achievements that they want you to get for the trophies, and then when DLC gets added, there's like a sub header of like, here's some new achievements that have shown up. So your percentage does go down because 100% is 100%, but... And then
they, and then, you, especially if it's, when the real evil move would be like paid DLC. Yeah. So you 100%, 6 months later you go on, and now you're at 90%, and in order, that extra 10% is actually like a paid DLC.
Right, because they were like, oh, we know that this, rather than being like, well, did you download the DLC yet? Like, and it's like, no, I didn't. I'm not paying for the DLC. It's like, oh, well, then you'll only ever have 90. It's like, that would be
Steam achievements have done that
worst.
For certain games, and people usually throw a fit.
The worst.
And I kind of don't blame them for it.
Anyway. Sorry, I think I interrupted you talking about stuff. What were you talking? What games were? What
Oh, I
games
mean,
were you talking
we
about?
were just talking about like what games came up in the year. I hadn't started anything.
Oh, okay.
Do the rundown for us.
Which are the ones that I'm just seeing in your book here? You've got some of them highlighted.
Oh, I mean, that's because those are games I bought this year that I played this year, as
Oh.
opposed to older games. It's how I keep track of like, am I buying a bunch of games and then not playing them,
Good call.
kind of thing.
As opposed to backlog games.
Yeah. So
You'll pardon me, I'm going to hit the washroom. Sorry.
I'm gonna go with games people haven't maybe heard of.
Sure. Yeah. Games that won't necessarily be on the big list.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, a lot of these won't be because they are not from this year, which is fine.
I think we'll probably let's just say that some of the games we're all going to be talking about some games that aren't 2025 games necessarily.
Have you heard of a game called Chicken Journey?
Chicken Journey.
Yeah.
No. I have
You're a
not.
chicken.
Is it like the game Journey except you're a chicken?
No.
Oh, okay.
But you are a chicken,
Okay.
and you walk around and you get little side quests. But your whole thing, and this is a game you can finish in like a couple of hours, but your whole thing is that you need to go to the library because you need to answer a very important question, Paul.
So why the chicken?
Yeah, what came first, the chicken
what
or
came
the
first,
egg?
the chicken or the egg?
And it's very important that you know because
And you as a
this
chicken
is your
don't.
entire being is based on this premise. But in order to get to the library, because it's on a mountain, you got to go to like 3 different places and get like the 3 scrolls and help all these people, these frogs and these other different things with their problems. And their problems are basically like, we would like to have a party, but we can't. And it has some really weird puzzle things.
Is it like a top-down RPG kind of style? Or?
No, side scroller.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. And this is definitely like a huge spoiler in terms of like this goes on, but like this is the only game where I've seen where in order to go into the mountain I needed to get a hat and a scarf because it will be cold.
It's fair.
So I had to go talk to the person in town who knits or crochets because they are the ones who will be able to make me the hat and scarf. Right? Okay. So I go and I talk to them, and they told me I had to go into their wardrobe to get them their yarn. And I was like, oh, okay, this will be really simple. I'll just open the wardrobe and get the yarn, and it'll probably tell me that I have to go somewhere else or something, right? I got sucked into the wardrobe, and I had to follow a piece of yarn to find the yarn in this really weird otherworld wardrobe of yarn. And then when I found the yarn, I had to untangle it all the way around to get it all the way back.
Cool.
And giant pointy knitting needles wanted to hurt me.
Wow. That sounds very creative.
Like, it was just really neat.
It's got almost like it seems like it's got almost like a bit of a Psychonauts feel or something.
I could have played that still. But yeah, it's just like it's got like a little bit of platforming, but I wouldn't call it a platformer because if you're bad at platforming, that's not going to matter too much.
Is it?
But it has some really neat puzzle stuff to it.
Cool. Is it for PC or Switch?
I
or?
played it on Steam.
Oh, Steam.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be on other stuff, but and I don't know when I bought it because I think I was just like, oh, this game looks neat, and it's probably whatever. Sure. So
Chicken Journey.
if you want a free game that'll take you like 2 hours, it's called Doronko Wanko. You're a little dog.
Okay. Already sold.
You're going to make the house a mess.
Like little dogs do.
Yeah, you roll in mud and then you go into places in the house and you shake the mud off in the house and you make a giant mess of this house.
And like that's the whole game.
That's the whole game. And at some point you'll get hats.
Okay.
At some point you'll get a machine gun that will paint the house for you with the mud.
That escalated from hats very quickly.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
you're just a little. I think you're technically a Pomeranian. It's a free game. If you want to be a different dog, you buy DLC to be a different dog.
Okay.
It will open up the game in Japanese as a warning. You can change it to English. But yeah, it's I think a really good. I don't understand why it's free. I had a lot of fun with it. And I mean, yeah, it was only a couple of hours, but I just like ran around, and the stuff you run into changes color. So sometimes you can get your fur to be like purple, and now you can make the entire place purple, and you'll find other things like you'll just like jump onto counters and knock stuff off and you're just making a mess. There's a story.
Neat.
A very short story to go with it. But yeah, it's a really cute game. I really recommend it.
Doronko Wanko.
Yep. Doronko and Wanko. I believe when I told Beach the name of this title, he said, "Drunk dog?"
Is that what that means?
I don't know.
Nice. It actually reminds me a little bit. I can't quite remember if I played that. Definitely wasn't a game that came out this year, but one of the few games. I don't play very many games on my iPad or iPhone. It's just not something I do. Not where I play games, but Arranger, which is a game that I remember this being shown on one of the like Game Awards or Summer Game Fest, or one of the things, like being showing they showed a trailer for this.
This sounds familiar.
And it was and it looked really neat. Maybe we could probably get a video.
Is this the one where the world moves around you?
Yeah, it's basically sliding block puzzles, the game. But it also available on Steam. I can see a link to it. The control on the computer is not working at the moment,
no.
which is interesting. Hopefully you can still see us. Anyway, it's sliding block puzzles, the game, and it reminded me a little bit of the games you're talking about there, just in the sense of like the amount of different, like the amount of sort of creativity around the sliding block puzzle mechanic that they end up with is super neat. You can like if to attack enemies, there's like a sword you can like slide into the person into the enemy, and the sword hits it. Or there's some guys are there's a certain mechanic where like some things are frozen in place so they don't move when things slide, and some things do, and all sorts of interesting ways of doing mechanics, and kind of a small but kind of fun story of you're this girl, you're sort of in this little town, and you don't fit in. It's not clear whether the reason why you don't fit in is it's like there's this thing of like it's not one of the weird things, like it's not clear if the sliding block aspect is like in the game, or whether like how the characters in the game perceive the block sliding around.
Oh, okay.
Because like
To them, they might be just moving themselves.
In some cases, they might be moving themselves, but there's also like part of the reason why you're like leaving this village and going on stuff is like, it's like, oh, you're really clumsy because like you keep knocking things over whenever you move around, because whenever you move, you're like sliding the world around stuff. So anyway, it's quite fun and currently available on the like Netflix. If you've got Netflix, you get it for free for mobile devices, and it is. I mean, it's also available on Steam, but it does work very well with the like touch controls.
Yeah, I imagine that style of gameplay would. A neat game the two of us played this year that came out this year was Split Fiction.
Split Fiction,
which I'm actually surprised to see it on as many lists this year. Not because it's not good, just because I thought it would have gotten bumped off by all the other stuff that's been like incredibly good.
It's been a banger year, yeah.
But that was a fun game.
Yeah. Split Fiction was a lot of fun, and I mean, obviously, we talked a lot about it, sort of as we were playing it and after. But yeah, again, just from like especially from like a mechanical standpoint. They had all sorts, they had really fun.
They had really good back and forth with like what the two people need to do, and
and they came up with all sorts of fun ways to use the different mechanics, and unexpected things to do, and like the one where you're like the one where like I was like a big pile of like spider robot things that could like move into different shapes and.
Yeah, we what was it? There was like that area we found out where it was like you could swim, and I was and so we were like, oh, well maybe I can swim too, and I jump into the water and I just dissipated and was like, I cannot swim.
Yeah. That was the whole thing. Like any new area you encounter, it's like, okay, is this a place where we can swim? Where one of us can swim? Where both of us can swim? Where no swimming is going to happen? Mm-hmm. Because it depends, yeah. Anyway.
And then, like, there were all those little weird... I wish they kind of had a few more of the little side stories.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of did, like, a wholly different thing that was just kind of, like, we turned into pigs and then became hot dogs. Like,
yeah.
That was just odd.
I feel like, yeah. And I think we talked about this at the time, too. The like, I felt like the one of the... Or something that did sort of... bring it down a little bit was that the sort of fantasy and science, the sort of central main fantasy and main science fiction worlds that these two characters had created were surprisingly generic, or maybe not surprisingly, but they were a little bit generic and kind of like
Yeah, I mean, what really got me was the whole we're gonna really push this idea that people who write fantasy don't get along with people who write sci-fi because they're so very different.
Right.
And the two genres shall never meet or clash. And I'm like, you've both written the most generic thing I've ever seen. And I don't understand why anyone would be like, yeah, we're definitely going to publish you a book deal. Oh, wait, he's an evil mastermind who's going to make a really incredibly weird... machine that will steal all your creative content that we probably could have just found through fanfiction.net.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The writing is maybe not, the story writing is maybe not
the strongest.
Strong. It is not unbearable. It is still kind of
it was fine.
Okay. But it is the game mechanics and the 2-player aspect that is the strongest of it.
Yeah. And obviously they sort of are continuing and expanding on some of the stuff that they did for It Takes Two.
Yeah. And I mean, I was very happy to not go through another moment with that elephant. Like, I was fine that they referenced it, but we didn't have to go through another, like,
we didn't have to have like
us as completely irresponsible parents will rip up this elephant in front of our child to make them cry, and then we'll be able to be normal.
Yeah, we didn't have to destroy a beloved character.
That was It Takes Two, which is the game they made prior.
I have a brief question. Which app is it? Which Nintendo app do I use to get my breakdown of what I did for the year?
Nintendo Store.
That's what I thought. I was like,
yeah, you got to go to your profile.
You don't think that it is. because the yeah.
And
I did the story on this, and I couldn't remember which one it was. Is the problem?
It's because they've got 5 apps.
Yeah, so play
And-
activity.
And they all kind of have a weird
So yeah,
overlap.
better question: why are there 5 apps?
Yeah, there's that.
And
Oh my
yeah.
god, right? It goes all the way back to like long time ago stuff.
Yeah, I would just go with played recently or whatever.
Yeah, play activity from the last 7 days. That doesn't work. Hang on. So what there is in the Nintendo Switch app, there is a breakdown of play activity, and it looks like it captures pretty much my whole year, or at least a bunch of my year. So I do have that in front of me.
Yeah,
now.
you can do it that way too.
Yeah, that's a way to kind of do it.
I go into the Nintendo Store app under your activity and
Yes.
go with played by when you started.
Like most recently played.
No. Like if you tap on the most recently played thing and you sort by.
She knows how to do it to make it come out the way that is probably the way that we're thinking about it.
You sort by date first played.
And
then
right, then all I have to do is just go back as far. Right, it just shows 2025 and then it shows 2024.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God! Yeah, some
And
of
that'll
these
be
is
a little
like-
bit cleaner than looking at the other app that will try to show you like incredibly
Yes.
minute details.
Right, because like I forgot I played a lot of Dead Cells this year on the Switch, but
Yep.
I did. No, my breakdown is like Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah, I did play. I finished that this year too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Because I did that in like January,
And kind of like
which was a really good game.
Mario Brother Wonders was great. Yeah.
yeah, because I played like in 2024 I played The Cruel King and the Great Hero on your recommendation, and which was good. But like yeah, Super Mario Brothers Wonder and Dead Cells and Mario and Luigi Brothership, that took out a fair bit of time, that one. And then I played that Macross game that we got to play on stream with Ian. Ian and I got to play that together for one thing, Burning Insight or whatever it's called. And so I played more of that and was like, this is really not going where I want it to go. And then there's like EA FC 25 because they were doing a game trial for that. So I downloaded it and started up and then turned it off and got
That doesn't count.
yeah, exactly right. But this is the funny thing is it's like, so I was like, well, Mario and Luigi Brothership, that's whatever, and Mario Wonder, okay, cool, like that kind of stuff. Those were like filling time, like 45 hours put into Brothership. But then it's like, you can see the change where it's like Mario Kart World, then Yakuza Kiwami, then Silk Song, then a brief stint into playing Dinkum, because we did that for stream. Cannon Dancer Osmond, because by the time after like 100 hours or whatever playing 95 hours of playing Silk Song, it was like that used up a lot of time. I downloaded Cannon Dancer, or rather purchased Cannon Dancer for like $4.50 because it looked like a sequel to Strider, the arcade Strider.
Oh.
But not like a sequel, but like a spiritual sequel, like everything's supposed to feel the same.
Oh, okay.
And it sure has like, he does a big, like, he arcing leaps, and he has like, when he does kicks and stuff, like he attacks with his body as opposed to using like that weird, like arcing sword thing. It is not the same. It is way too goddamn difficult, but it is also like a weird fever dream of a game. Like just a lot of like weird people turning into giant statues and stuff and to attack you. So I played that, and because it's an arcade game, there's a mode in the port where you can turn on invincible mode, and I'm like, yes, let's just do that. And after I did that, I beat the game in about 20 minutes. But if I was actually pumping quarters into it, which is what I was doing, I probably would have spent about like $20 in quarters trying to actually make it through to the end of the game. So we get, after Cannon Dancer, we get to Yakuza 0, and I'm like, okay, so basically since May, I played Mario Kart, Yakuza Kiwami, Silk Song, Yakuza 0. I have played 4 games since the Switch 2 came out. And before that, I played 2 more games, maybe 3, I guess we'll count Dead Cells in that, because I did do that for a while. So I didn't play a ton of games this year.
So TXC2 has said that they like that Steam tells them that most people have played like 4 or so games a year, and they've played like 12.
Yeah.
I also had that reaction when I was on my Steam rewatch, because I was like, I've played 14 on Steam.
Yeah, alone.
And
then like
people
another
play
6
4?
on Switch.
Okay.
Like,
oh, I mean, if I
Oh, 'cause you're-
if I go through what the list I'm looking at are games I've completed this year.
Right, okay.
If I'm going by
Just the ones you touched.
games I've touched, I've played about 45 games.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't consider games that I've just sort of
And-
like messed around
and-
with and then didn't go for it.
Yeah,
That's
and
fair.
if I'm going with games that I'm like, I intend to like finish, or I'm like kind of partway through, but like games I haven't abandoned, I'm still at like 40 games overall.
Wow.
I think we may be statistical outliers.
I guess so.
Well, a familiar called E said they played 47 games, and Mystic Man saying 30 games played kind of guy with 900 achievements. It's like, yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of.
Like, and I don't.
Obviously,
like,
there's a
if-
whole spectrum
if,
of how
like,
we do this. But
I know there are definitely people who only play like a couple of games, like they play whatever shooter thing. That's most of the gaming they do, and that's
And
fine.
I mean, hours of gaming might not be that different.
Yeah, and hours of gaming might not be that different.
Just
Beach had
go deep
4
into-
for
yeah.
his Switch, and I'm like, yeah, well, like Silk Song was like nearly 100 hours. The Yakuza game is going to be definitely in that range too.
85 hours for Yakuza, 49 hours for Brothership, 14 hours in Mario Kart World. I did not spend that much time at Mario Kart World like I thought
Sure.
I did. But apparently I did spend... Wait, no, that's got to be wrong. I'm like 60 hours in the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo, like the NSO like emulator. I'm like, I did not spend 60 hours in that this year. It's 60
Not
hours
this year.
total.
It's going to be total.
Yeah, but I have, like, the fact that I spent 85 hours in Yakuza and then 65 hours in Yakuza 0 so far, and then 110 hours or more in Silk Song. I'm like, how did I spend 110 hours in a game that I've only played for? Oh, because it probably doesn't count the time that you're paused. I hope.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
I have definitely gone into like my friends list and seen a couple of friends who have played an impossible number of hours for a game that is like only 12 hours long. Like we're talking hundreds of hours.
Right.
And then I'll talk to them and find out they had the game on the pause screen for quite a while
Right.
because they went to do something else. But I know other games don't necessarily do that. So it's weird. I mean, there's going to be inaccuracies in that sense, but yeah, typically why I talk about just the games that I've played through is because I finished them,
Yeah.
as opposed to like I'm sure I'm in the middle of playing Hyrule Warriors right now. I'm not going to be able to finish that this year.
Well, sure,
You
but that's
know,
fine.
I'm in the middle of playing Phoenix Wright right now. I'm probably not going to finish that this year either. But
Decaped asking the real violence, how many games did you buy this year that you didn't play?
okay,
Now Heather actually has the stats for that.
Yeah.
I have bought 20 games this year, which is really low for me.
Now is that like individual games that you purchased, or like is that bundles and things as well?
If they come in a bundle, then and I've paid for them, then I put all of the games
All
down.
the games. Okay.
But I have
one, maybe two. Record of
I've
Lodos
only
War.
there's only 10 of them I haven't played.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if I can hold out for like another few days, then I can keep this list at that size and just buy a bunch of games on the first.
It's I mean I'm generally on the like I start looking for games to
Right.
buy when I am almost finished whatever game I'm currently playing,
Right.
and then I buy it and then I play the crap out of it, and then like I'm
Yeah.
which from a sort of from a money point of view, in some ways is probably not the best because I'm not oh it's on sale, grab it just in case. But on the other hand, I don't usually end up with too much stuff that I bought that I'm not playing.
For stuff I've bought that I haven't even touched, Dave the Diver, Spider-Man 2, and Psychonauts were definitely all on sale
Right.
when I purchased them. Stuff like the 100 line Last Defense Academy, I think I intended to play, and then something else happened.
Right.
And then stuff like Fantasia, Neo Dimension, it was like, oh, well, I can get a hard copy of that. Suikoden 1 and 2 was one of those. I know I'm not going to play that right away, but I
Right.
want to. But I've been trying to pull back on that because I think last year I had something like 50 games on my list and I'd only played like 20.
How many games from the 2024 list did you play this year, though? I guess is the trade. Like, is your backlog getting bigger or getting smaller?
It's a weird mix.
Yeah.
For this year, I probably only played 2 from last year that came out, and that was at the end, like Mario Brothers Wonder and stuff.
And like I'm adjusting how I feel as I've gotten older too about how do you come at the buying a backlog idea? Because literally to have a show called Beej's Backlog,
right,
and to have created games at home for the GameCube, because it was like I had disposable income, so during the GameCube era, if the game was like, if a used copy of the game at Rogers Video or Blockbuster, whatever, shows up and it's like, oh, they want $20 for Baten Kaitos. Okay, well, I'll pick that up. I hear it's supposed to be good, right? And like it goes in the backlog and I'll play it someday and get disappointed in it. But that's me. Again, just me, right? But it's like that kind of idea of I'm just picking up games on used to throw into the thing, and I'm just kind of slowly accumulating whatever. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's like, all those things in my backlog that have not come out and are probably not going to come out, all I'm doing is if I'm acquiring stuff, I'm kind of ending up in the same boat again. And I need to think a little more judiciously about when do you want to buy games. And since also now, I don't know if we're in the middle of another change. I know that the games industry changed to the thing of like a game comes out on Steam and for the goes on sale 10% off at the beginning, and then it goes immediately up to its normal price, and then within 3 months it starts to go on progressively better and better sales until it's completely eroded. And that doesn't happen on the Switch, or at least it never used to. But a lot of third parties kind of get in this mindset.
Third party wise, it will.
Yeah, third parties get in this mindset of like, well, we have to slowly start to have more and more sales. And so when it comes to something like Disco Elysium, which I do want to play, I'm starting to feel like I want to actually play that game, but I don't know when I'll have time to do it. It's on sale right now for $16 on the Switch. I know that people have got it for probably like $5 on Steam, right?
But I think it was free on Epic on Christmas.
Yesterday it was free.
Yeah, so there's like all sorts of different ways you can get a game, and I'm like, well, I'll pay $16 for this. I think the sale ends January 5th, but I just started Yakuza, and I didn't just start. I've been playing it for 65 hours. But when I look at the sales,
it's like
it goes on sale every couple. You can tell from the green things, it's going on sale like every month.
So like by the time you want to play it, there'll probably be some other sales. So maybe it's not that big a deal.
Maybe I don't have to worry about it.
I try not to buy. If I can see that a game goes on sale frequently, I do leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, that one I can wait on. But like, I don't count anything that I get that's a free game. Because that's not really what I'm trying to do here, right? And if I did that, I would have so many more games on this list.
But there's so many, the Amazon and Epic and various other people who are giving away games all the time. Those don't count.
Yeah. There was
there's a huge portion of my Steam library that doesn't count because they're games that I know I'll never play because I've gotten them for crossing the streams.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
There was a dev last year, and they did it again this year on the Switch, that they did an advent calendar type situation where they're like, hey, so we're going to give away all of our games, but here's how we're going to do it, is you have to own one of the games in the set. So you buy the first game. When you do that and you put that on your system, then the next day, if you go buy that game off of the eShop, it will notice that you have the first game in the sequence, and it will give you a 100% discount. And then when you go to the next day, if it sees that you have that next game in the sequence...
it was a really complicated thing.
Then it's like, then you can chain it to the next one. So you keep the chain going, right? But how they did it this year is they said, now, if you fall off the chain, that's fine, because you can buy the game you missed at an extremely steep discount for one day only. So if you missed it by 24 hours, you can buy it for like 90% off or whatever and get back in the chain and make your way along to get like the 12 or 13 games or whatever we're putting on sale. Which I was like, that's a very fun, interesting idea to get people to like come back every day and get them into the habit of buying your games. And then hopefully they're like, well, I just downloaded it. Let's see if it's any good or not, if it's something to my taste or not. And if it isn't, doesn't matter. Wait for the next day. Maybe that game will be. And I'm like, that's a fascinating idea to like pull people into playing your stuff a lot, because they're like, well, I'm here anyway, might as well try it. I don't know. I can't remember who it was who did it though. That's the problem. Like,
Yeah, like it was.
So it didn't work that well.
didn't work on
and
me.
that was the issue. Is like I think by the time I even found out about it last year, it was day 4,
Yeah.
and you had to like
Right.
be on every day, which was really weird. And I'd never heard of. I don't know if I'd even heard of the dev that was doing that. So I don't know. Like it's an interesting idea of what they did, but it seemed kind of complicated.
Yeah.
Let me just look at some
Excuse
other
me.
ones.
My goodness.
You know, we've talked a lot about Blueprint and Hades 2, and those are the ones that I played like most recently.
Hades 2 is a very good game.
Yeah. Prince of Persia: Lost Crown
Yeah.
is one that I played through. That now that's not from this year, but it's one that I played through not too long ago, and excellent Metroidvania style game
Yeah.
with a lot of the like quality of life stuff. You're like, this is nice.
Yeah.
Why don't other games,
File
it's-
off some of those rough edges.
Yeah, it's got, you can just hit a button and it takes a screenshot, and it takes not just a screenshot, but like just a capture of a particular area,
Right.
and then that gets marked on your map, and then you can mouse over that area on your map, or you can like mouse over that area on your map, and it shows you the screenshot. So it's like, why did you mark that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You're taking notes
you
live.
Can,
You can also just add marks arbitrarily around on your map, however you want.
That's cool.
But if you're trying to remember, you're like, I know this room that looked like this. Which one is it? You can actually
Yeah.
check things. Yeah, it was a feature of the game that a lot of people really liked.
Yeah,
when it came
and
out.
it's like one of those things that doesn't. It's. I'm definitely in favor of those kind of. It's like not having those kind of features makes the game more difficult, but in a way, but it's like the difficult part isn't the part that should be difficult. Like, I don't know, Metroidvania for me anyway. The Metroidvania, like the exploration and the mechanics of the actual like combat and the traversal and finding new finding power-ups and opening new areas and stuff, like that's the fun part. Remembering where that thing was that you don't know, like
You're like,
to
oh, it was
me-
blocked and I couldn't get to it, so
Like-
how do I find that again?
to me that's not the fun part of
Yeah.
a Metroidvania game.
Yeah, the couple of times I've played Metroid games, the parts that I have disliked the most were the parts where I'm like, I don't know where to go, but there's all these rooms here, so I guess I'll go back to all of them until I find the way forward.
Right, exactly.
The
yeah.
thing that I love the most about like Metroid games like later, I mean, I don't know if Super Metroid did this or not, but I think they did, is there a power-up to be found, like an obvious power-up to be found in this room, not a hidden like missile behind like a brick or something? It's like, is there an obvious power-up to be found in this room, a missile tank that's just kind of sitting in the open? Yes. Well, then we'll just put a dot in that room.
I think at least in later Metroid games, even if it was a secret, they would also put a dot there.
Oh, to let you know that you should be looking for something.
And then there's that, like the thing I always would do is like there's a dot there, so you like go into the room and you look as thoroughly as you can.
Yeah.
Don't find anything, and so now you have to go to the 4 rooms around that room to
Yeah.
be like, is there a weird like secret entrance into this room that I'm not
Right,
kidding?
because it's
Exactly.
technically in this room, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
accessible from this room.
But I like that as a thing of like, we're gonna tell you that there's something there, and you can kind of imagine that in terms of like Samus's suit is like resonating or picking up on something and being like, you're in a space, and proximity bases, there is something around you right now that is causing your suit to register that there is something that you want, and thus telling the player, it's like, there's an upgrade here for my suit and I don't know where the hell it is. It's a new missile tank or whatever, but it's like, there's an upgrade for my suit and it's in this area, and my suit is not that smart enough to be able to be like, and look in this direction, but it's like, at least it's like, you're in the right area, comb it, you'll find the thing, and then you can integrate it and you can move on with your life. So
The worst version of, or not the worst, but the one of the things that really annoyed me in what was the name of that? It was like a Metroidvania. It was like a 2.5D style one. It was like for Xbox 360 or something.
Describe it a bit. Maybe I can help.
That the people who made it went on to do other cool stuff, but anyway, it was. Anyway, doesn't really matter what the name is.
Sure.
But anyway, it's like that 2.5D thing where you're running in.
You're running on the foreground plane.
You're running in the foreground plane.
Yeah.
And there's that aspect where it's like sometimes it's a little unclear as to what's the foreground, what's the background, and things will like shoot you from the background that you can't actually interact with.
Yeah.
Just weird and annoying. But there also will be foreground stuff, that will be like in the foreground kind of cover thing, block things sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's like a couple times where I got, there's a power up in this room. Again, there's just like a little dot or whatever that indicates that there's a power up in this room. And I go looking all around, can't find the stupid damn power up.
Uh-huh.
And I finally like looked at a FAQ or whatever, like
Right.
where the hell is this thing? And it's like, oh, it's in this corner, but it's like behind the
Occluding thing.
Occluding thing, and I'm like, for the guy,
Yeah. He'd see it.
It's just right there.
Yes.
It's only hidden from me, the person who has the like omniscient third person view.
Yeah.
The guy could see it right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he should be like, yo, dude, there's a thing.
That's that whole Jesus, the amount of times they did that shit in Silk Song. Like, it's so frustrating because it's like, I should be able to see that there's something over here.
Shadow Complex.
Yeah.
Nisa's got it.
Anyway.
That was the game I was thinking of. That was one of those games that I wish would have a sequel, but I believe the company went on to do another much more successful game that they were like, well, now we're just doing that forever.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
have a better franchise.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Duck Detective. People should play the Duck Detective games. This year they came out with the Ghost of Glamping.
Yeah.
I think last year was the Secret Salami or something. Something like that. They're like 5-hour games, but they're fully voice acted. They're silly. You're a duck who's a detective.
They're so satisfying,
They're
too.
pretty satisfying.
It's so weird that I'm like, how did you make this game that satisfying an experience?
I wonder. So a while ago, I was talking about I play lots of games with my brother, and we play games remotely. And a while ago, he was like, "Hey, we should try Frog Detective."
That is something I need to play. Because it sounds
he's
like
I've heard fun things about it, and I was like, "Sure, I don't know about it," and got it. It's a fine game, but it's like a kid's game. It's like a very mild game.
Right. It's not going to be like Obra Dinn or anything like that.
We're like, putt-putt style level of game here. Like,
right.
You're just going around and sort of doing stuff. It's like, oh, I have a hat.
Okay.
And it's like, it was well made and
Right.
fun, and kind of interesting little weird characters and stuff. That I'm like, okay, cool. It took us, 45 minutes or an hour to finish it. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't quite know why, you were so into playing that, but maybe he got confused between Duck Detective and maybe heard good things about Duck Detective versus Frog Detective.
I mean, I've heard good things about both, but yeah, they're different styles of games. Like I played the Detective Pikachu games,
Yeah.
which movie was fantastic.
Absolutely.
The games.
Has there been a new game?
So there was
After the movie?
There was the first game for the 3DS, and then it kind of ended with a cliffhanger because we didn't solve the main story of like what happened to whatever the main character's dad is, which they do in the movie, and it's pretty obvious, so it's not okay. And then they finally brought out the sequel in for the Switch. I'm a little surprised they didn't do a 2-pack thing.
Oh yeah.
They're because they're part of the same story, and they're fun. I really liked in the sequel that you could find additional Pokemon that like would help you sniff out clues and do other things, and they're really silly in their cinematics, but they're so handholdy. Like
They are
I know
basically
they're
E for everyone.
I know
yeah.
they're for kids, but they're like to the point where Pikachu will be standing there and he's like, well, if that happened, how did this happen? And you're like, dude, we already know that the bird ate the thing. It's very obvious, but you're going to make me answer 6 questions about this thing to do this other thing. And I bored.
Yeah.
There's that. It's especially happened to me with mobile games, where like every once in a while I'll like download. Like I said, I'm not like super into playing mobile games, but every once in a while I'll get a hankering and I'll download a mobile game, and like look at stuff. It's like, oh, this game's currently free. I'll download it and try it out.
Yeah.
And it'll be like there's one that was like a match something game, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. You have to like find the thing, and I'm like, okay, cool, got the thing. And I'm going through and I'm like, I'm doing really well. And I'm going through and then, about like 5 levels in and it not getting any harder, I'm like, oh wait.
Yeah.
It's like, I think this is actually a game for babies.
Yeah. Fair.
It's like,
which is fine.
I thought this was just a tutorial and it was going to get interesting. And it's like, obviously games like that are totally fine.
I just like,
but when you go into it, you're just like, oh.
You're hoping for it to get harder.
Right.
I'm just like, could you stop holding my hand so much?
Right.
Yeah.
Because it does seem even a little bit
or
overly dumb even for kids,
or
in my
at least
opinion.
like
But I don't know. Maybe,
have that as an optional.
Yeah, if I could just optionally turn that off.
If you get stuck, you can go and do it.
I will say, this is going to dovetail into a secondary point that I have.
Okay.
I will say that when it comes to a lot of detective games, and I'm going to definitely include the Ace Attorney series in this.
They're basically detective games.
They are detective games. It's like when it comes to a lot of detective games, sometimes you'll be like, okay, well, this is the answer. And then they're like, well, no. Why would you show that piece of evidence in court like that, or why would you show the picture of that person like that? And you're like, because that's the answer. Like I know what the answer to the look. You give me 3 minutes, I will explain the plot of what's going on to this for you. If you just let me put all this stuff out and be like, okay, and so why did you show this? Because these are the reasons, like that kind of thing. Like you could walk through everything and be like, my theory is this, which is not a theory because this is how it happened because we have all the evidence that points to that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I get that earlier cases don't play like that in Ace Attorney, but the later cases absolutely do play as you show the evidence. They're like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And then you realize, I have to show like a picture of a person to be like, oh, that's interesting. But why would you do that? Well, because of this other person. Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, why would you show that? Yeah. Because of this piece of evidence that links the two of them together. And do you see what I'm doing?
The chain.
Like, for fuck's sake. And I'm like, So, right. So anyway, when it comes to a lot of things like that, this is where I'm going to delight and frustrate people in chat because they will not stop talking about it. So I'm going to say, I did play Curse of the Golden Idol this year. And I did also start playing Rise of the Golden Idol this year because Netflix were backing them. You could get them for free if you had a Netflix account. So I played them on my phone.
Okay.
And Curse of the Golden Idol was really fun until the end of the game. Where now you're having to fill, because it's a lot like Duck Detective, where you're filling in words and putting people in spots. And it's very Mad Libs, right? You're putting in all these things, and it's a serious game. Like it's a goofy ass premise, but it's like people are dying, people are getting hurt. Everyone looks like a goddamn demon in this game because they draw every individual tooth.
The art style is so weird.
Yeah, it's terrifying to look at, right? And I'm just like, what? That's what they went for, and I'm like. Okay, I get to the end of the game and it's like, great. Well, here's these 30 goddamn paragraphs with missing about 2/3 of the words. And now what you have to do is you have to drop in all the words from all the things that you learned to tell the story of here's all the things that are happening and this is why this all worked out. And I'm like, But I can't, because every time I'm like, oh, well, this person, we're going to talk about this person, so I'll put those names in there. And then they were doing this, right? And it involved this item, and it's like, no, you got that wrong. And I'm like, I don't have that wrong. They were doing a thing with a gun or a cannon or with a fucking trench coat or whatever. And then you start pulling those out, and you're like, okay, so I'll put this word in there. It's like, oh, you have everything but one word. And I'm like, how? And then you start putting other things, and then finally it locks it in. You're like, oh, is that what happened? Oh, is that what they mean to say what happened? Because it was like, you were supposed to have figured this all out. And I'm like, I don't know how I would have figured out exactly what you thought I was supposed to be seeing here, because it is not that clear. I know there are some of you out there who are like, oh, it was very clear to me. Of course, because you saw that. And part of me was like, but it is not that clear that that was a thing that had happened in that way. Or it was not clear that I got to that next step from there, because you want it to be a difficult game. There's your difficult game. There's your thing of, I have to build the story, and the game will trigger when it figures out how everything happened. I'm like, how did I get through the entire game up to that point, 100%ing everything, doing really well, clicking along, and then getting to the last chapter and being like, and now you have no idea what's going on, because it is not clear, and everything's interlocking. It's like, oh my God. So yeah. And I gave up on Rise because I was like, oh, I'm encountering this early, so never mind.
My main problem, I tried to play those games. My main problem with it is apparently they were not, even though you can load them on the thing, they are not intended for the older iPad that I have. And basically every time I would like hit a button or do anything, there was like a 50-50 chance that it would just crash.
Yeah.
But
you'd have to play them on your phone, and the phone's tiny, and it's like, more frustrating to play. But
the detective thing, one more.
I mean, it's
this
is the hard thing about detective games, right?
Yeah.
It's like difficulty level versus.
I did finish Curse the Golden Idol, by the way. Like, I did find the combination that made everything pay off. I'm like, oh, I get it. But by that point, I was like, great. Yeah. Put that away. Let's start the next game. So,
versus like, what like the difficulty versus like, can you actually understand the logic that's being put down versus like, because I said Detective Pikachu, really handholdy, like the most handholdy thing I've ever seen in a video game. And but you can get too obtuse. Right. That's true. Blueprints, incredibly obtuse sometimes, right?
Hitting that level
can be hard. I definitely remember cases in Phoenix, right, where I'm like, I have 6 items that should prove whatever it is that this thing is, but I need to give you the exact right one, even though I have so much evidence that just proves this outright.
My favorite one was, I think it was a game that Graham and I were, I think we were streaming it, where like you're a ghost detective. Somebody in chat probably remembers what game it was, but anyway, it has these bits where you have to like, look at your evidence and see all the stuff, and it's like, what is the most important evidence? Murdered sole suspect. That's it. Yeah. What is the most important piece of evidence right now? Right.
Right.
You've taken pictures of things and done all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this person got killed. What is the most important piece of evidence? And so, we're like, oh, is it, this guy who's like standing nearby looking suspicious? Is it the knife or whatever?
Right.
And then, we tried some stuff, and it keeps getting rejected. And we're like, what the hell could it be? And then we just wildly guessing and end up with the piece of evidence they wanted you to mark as the most important piece of evidence is the fact that the person is dead.
They're not wrong.
Well,
it's like, okay,
that is very important.
I thought we had kind of moved past that bit, but okay.
I think we all recognize that the person is dead. Oh God! But what if you designed the game so that it's like you might end up in a murder mystery where it turns out that the person who was murdered is actually not dead.
Yeah.
The best thing about that game, you can like possess different people, different things.
Okay.
But then there's one point where you possess like a cat, and that's like the best part of the game. It's just like,
because you're running around as a cat.
Yeah, and you're just like, why can't we just have the whole game like this? And then I played straight.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, Yeah.
It was much more. It was much more entertaining playing as the cat than playing as
When
stupid
you-
ghost detective guy.
So when you possess things, is it like you're using that as a way to move around or solve puzzles, or by possessing things you learn new info? Like what's the...
Both. Yeah, you can learn new info, and then also you could like use people. I don't know if you could actually like control when you're possessing people. You couldn't necessarily control them, but you could like sort of use them to get to places where you wouldn't otherwise be able to get to, or something. I don't know. I can't remember, but
I think
anyway.
and I mean, not to get too bogged down by the detective thing, but it's like I do think that it is large because people have different experiences with all these kind of games, obviously.
Oh,
too.
sure.
And it's like if you're not able, because Ghost Trick, people mentioned in chat, which is a fantastic game.
So good.
And it also has those moments of what is the line here? I don't quite see it. And then as you start to find it and you figure it out, you're like, oh, I do feel smart because I got there. The game led you a little bit to understanding what the thing is, but you get there. And I'm like, right, these games are predicated on being able to think like the developer does. And if you see it, like if you're playing it and it's like the thing lights up in your brain at the right moment and you see the things and you can kind of go through it, you're either going to think I'm very smart or this is very easy. And if you're not resonating with it, you're going to think this is hard or this is dumb. This game is bad. And that's the thing where I'm like, I'm not going to say, for example, Curse of the Golden Idol is a bad game. Far from it. I don't think it's a bad game at all. I do think that running into the frustration I did meant that my experience was less than satifying.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
fair.
true with a lot of detective games and a lot of like that kind of style of game where it's like everything didn't coalesce when it was supposed to, and therefore my experience was bad. And it's like that doesn't mean the game is bad. It just means my experience was bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing that detective games or that sort of style of puzzle games can, they almost better than any other. It's like when they hit that sweet spot,
Yeah.
it feels, it's so good. Like it feels, it's like I'm so smart.
Yeah.
Because I did the thing that, they specifically designed to make it easy for me to do.
I'm the protagonist of the mystery novel.
Yeah. But you're like, I'm smart. I did the thing. I feel good. It feels really, it feels really good. But yeah, it's always the like, either, oh, that's too easy, or my favorite one is the like looking up a puzzle. You're like, okay, I've messed around with this for like 3 hours.
Yeah, you're not seeing it.
I'm
so
not
you're
seeing
just
it.
gonna
I'll
look it
gotta
up.
look it up.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the reaction is either, oh my god, of course,
Right.
I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
Or,
Oh my God.
Or is more often the case for me. Like usually I'm sort of stubborn, and so by the time I'm looking things up, it'll be like, okay, I could have worked on this puzzle for another 30 hours. I would never have gotten that answer. I was on the entirely wrong track.
Yeah.
I'm fine with using the guide for this.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so smart. Oh my God, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I for some puzzle games, I do have a habit of being like, okay, I think I've worked out this thing. I just have to do this incredibly convoluted whatever. And at some point, I have to go, this game was made for 10-year-olds. What are you doing? They would never expect this out of a
You're
10-year-old.
right.
Yeah.
You're
What-
right.
What are you doing? Well, this seems like I should be able to do this thing. Yes, but why would they do it that way? I don't know.
I like that we have all kind of the thing we're talking about the most on this chill point, it seemed that together has been just the nature of those games, meaning that we've all played several of these games and we all have like a hard opinion on that. It's like we don't have anything to argue about when it comes to like an action game, but when it comes to like this, we're like, this,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because like, so for instance, Ghost Trick, one of the really good things about Ghost Trick is because the whole thing is that you're kind of going back and forth in time a little bit as a ghost.
Yes.
To because the sequence of events happening around you are gonna basically be on a loop, and you're gonna start from a certain point in time to try to make everything connect in a certain way to make specific things happen.
Yeah.
You get to do trial and error
Yeah.
because you can just go back
Right.
in time to be like, well, that didn't work, and you go back to try it out. But that does mean you get to play around a little bit and be like, well, if I knock that thing over, what happens then? Oh, it causes this other object to go flying, and I didn't know that it was going to do that, but because I know that now, I can kind of see where I'm supposed
Maybe
to
I
be
can
going,
work that
right?
into the solution, or maybe it's not part of
Right,
the solution
right.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like some puzzle games where you get like, if you're not, because some puzzle games are very like, you stare at the thing, you input the right answer, you get to move on.
Right.
Some are, you did the wrong answer so many times, now you're going to get punished, or you have to go back to like
Right.
your last save or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for like your detective style games, depending on, or your visual novel, depending on what they've decided to do, the answers you give may give you a different ending. Right? I'm thinking of like the 999 series
Oh
where
yeah. Wow.
the
Yeah.
puzzle of the first one is that in order to continue going forward, everyone has to split off so that the watch number that they have ends up equaling 9 as they go through.
Ooh.
And if you don't, people will die.
Wow.
But it does mean that there's several different endings of what you can do.
Bringing back to games of this year, 2 games that I played this year are Strange Horticulture
Yeah.
and Strange Antiquities.
Oh, are they both by the same?
But they're sequels to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, Antiquities came second. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, Strange Antiquities, I was gonna play for Send Codes, but it didn't work out. There was got filled up with other stuff or other people playing and things. But both really good games, and for me anyway, both they were very into the like they for most of the time anyway tickled that like I'm very smart
Oh yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, some of the answers were a little bit obscure. Some of the things were like a little bit weird and tricky. And then I'm like, wait a minute. If I move this here and then, ooh, I'm smart. Or you know, trying to come with different things. There were, both very entertaining. If you don't know, the premise of them is it's like it's actually, I think, one of it's got that good sort of indie game aspect where it's like embracing your limitations.
Yes.
Because like the entire game is basically contained within your one screen of your shop.
Right.
Which is like
okay.
you just have like your shop, and then people like come to your desk and
Very
ask
papers,
you,
please.
and ask you for things, and then the rest of the thing, then you have like all your inventory, which is like the rest of the view,
Nice.
and you have like shelves and things that you can put your different items on, and you can organize them in whatever way makes sense to you,
That's awesome.
and you can label them in ways that
Okay.
make sense to
Okay.
you.
So you never leave your shop.
No, and you can. Well, you never you never see yourself leaving your shop. Occasionally, you can. There's like a map, and you can be like, I want to go here, and then it'll give you like a little text description of what happened to you when you went there.
okay,
But
okay.
you never see anywhere other than inside your shop. But there's all sorts of interesting things to do. Like there's lots of aspects. In both games, the implication is that you're sort of taking over the shop from somebody else.
Okay.
And so you're just basically they're like, here's the thing. Here's a book that has descriptions of some of the plants
Okay.
in Strange Horticulture. And then
Yeah.
people will be like, oh, hey, I feel dizzy. Can you give me a plant that'll fix that? And then you have to go, it's like, okay, which plant?
Okay.
Which plant fixed that? And it's like, oh, it's got, whatever heart-shaped leaves and it's there. And you have to go like see if you have that plant.
Right. So this is
Try
kind
to
of
find
like
that plant.
Carmen San Diego.
Valhalla and like Coffee Talk kind of thing, where you're like, mixing drinks because people ask you for specific
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But
And
you don't really leave that spot that much. But
Yeah, and then things get
story
more.
happens because of the people you're
Yeah, and
interacting
then
with.
different
Okay,
people, and
okay.
there are some story aspects where like somebody you have different things, like it's like somebody, this person is sick,
Yeah.
and you can either give them like the cure or something that'll make them worse.
Oh, sure,
like
yeah.
you have a choice,
Yeah.
and that will change things another way, and then but the other fun part is that because you're ostensibly you just took over this shop,
Yeah.
like there's actually the world the view of the shop that you can see is also sort of interactive, like you can move the plants around, but then also there'll be like a drawer that is like locked, and then at some point you find like you find like a key for that drawer, and you open it up, and it's like, oh hey, there's another
Oh,
book in there,
nice.
and now you have like another reference book that has like some other information.
It sounds pretty cool.
Or and Strange Antiquities is the sequel that just recently came out, and it's basically the same premise, but instead of plants, it's like weird.
Curios.
Yeah, weird. It'll be like different little sort of totems and idols and rocks and amulets and gems and things that you have to then figure out. And some of them have magical properties. You have to do stuff, and there's like. One of them, it's like all you know about it is like something. It's like it interacts with, it's like it like makes flame glow blue,
Yeah.
and you're like, and so that was one where I was like, okay, cool, and then I was like, oh, just like on the background of the shop, there's just like a lantern, and you can pick it up, and if you just like move it over to that. It like goes blue, and you're like, "Oh, hey, cool!"
Oh,
And then you try different. So it's like that wasn't even like an interactive element, but it was just like, "Oh, they have a cool interaction."
This experimental-
This almost sounds like you have a shift at a store. I mean, you run the store, so you're going to be there all day.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will come in and do things, and then sometimes nobody will be there, and you'll just be bored, and you're like, I don't know. I guess I'll play with some fire.
yeah.
Read this book and maybe.
I mean, it's
cool.
like that, except the. People keep coming, right? So it's like while you're doing that, somebody's just like standing at the till,
waiting for their heart medication. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like,
you get though why I compare that kind of thing to Carmen Sandiego though, right?
oh yeah,
It's
certainly.
a single screen. You only have a single interface. You don't have multiple interfaces, and it requires the acquisition of external knowledge.
I loved playing one of those games when I was a kid because they had it on the school computers.
Yeah.
I was so bad at it because I knew nothing.
But I like that thing of because I didn't realize that how Strange Horticulture worked, but the idea of like the missions you accomplish in the game are dependent upon you acquiring knowledge that is not prima facie. Like it's not like playing Mario Brothers where it's like I move, I jump, I hit things, I move on, right? It's like I have to learn stuff, and then I have to keep those things either in my head or like I have to be able to combine knowledge together to make to solve the puzzle, as opposed to I'm moving the Tetris block or whatever, right?
Right.
And I think I find that fascinating too, that it's like there's still room within that within the world to be like we can still make a Carmen Sandiego style game of learning things, applying knowledge, sussing things out in a fictional universe. Even there's room for that. There people are like, oh, I want to build a whole fictional world and then make these things happen. And it's like, right, you could do that with real plants.
Yeah.
You could have Strange Horticulture just be about real plants, and people could learn so much.
Right. I mean and as with any of these games that are sort of related to a job in the real world,
Yeah.
Like say Power Wash Sim or whatever.
Yeah.
The idea is that or the sort of hook is that you're doing this thing, but sort of only doing like the fun parts.
Yes.
Of doing
Yes.
it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're like certain obviously identifying plants is a real job.
Yeah.
But it's very I'm sure it's very rewarding.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure it is also very time consuming, and a lot of very specific little information and detail and things that can be kind of mind numbing.
But if you really wanted to like expose somebody to the idea of, well, this is an analgesic, and it's like, well, what is it? It's like, well, it's meadowsweet extract or whatever, willow bark or whatever, that kind of thing. And it's like, well, why is it an analgesic? And it's like in the game, it relieves pain. It relieves pain, right? And it's like, well, in real life, it relieves pain too. Like, the whole thing of First Nations people used to chew willow bark as a means of curing a toothache, and it's like, why? Because it has salicylic acid in it, so it acts as a pain reliever. And it's like, like.
Having stuff related to the real,
Yeah.
In this case, like in even in strange horticulture, like the plants are all fictional, and it gets into magical sort of metaphysical stuff, and there ends up being like there is a sort of overall plot line that's getting into like sort of Cthulhu-esque stuff going on that can go very badly depending on what you. As the proprietor of this place, what you do, you can really mess things up.
I did finish Power Wash Simulator this year, the first one.
Oh yeah,
because the second one was coming out.
Right.
So I had to finish the storyline.
Well, I mean, I was
This is
like,
a weirdly complicated
it's a
storyline.
really good story.
I know it sounds stupid to say it out loud though.
But I was like, oh right, I had a lot of fun playing that game. Why did I stop? Who knows? And so I was like, oh, I should pick that up. And it has a fun ending and some other stuff. And then Power Wash Sim 2 came out, and that game, it's weird to be like, oh man, the improvements on this game are so good.
Yeah, I haven't I haven't played it any more than just the stream that we did, but the stream was very enjoyable.
Yeah, it felt like it was just fun to see like that they've added cats, that you have a home base, so it kind of feels like, oh, your company has grown, right?
Yeah.
And now you have like items that you can decorate with after you wash them off. You've got like still the same kind of story thing going on of you go to places and you do stuff, but you have like a cool new map you can see of like what the actual area looks like. And I mean, just having the thing where there's an actual pointer that points at the thing that you've missed instead of just the very light glow that's really hard to see sometimes is
big improvement.
Huge as an improvement. But it is like the best game I have for listening to audiobooks.
Yeah, because I've definitely listened to podcasts while playing Power Wash.
Yeah, it's just like it's there's enough going on that I have something to do, because otherwise I usually have to like be walking around or doing something. I can't just listen and not do stuff. And so it's got like just enough for like to not take attention away from the thing that I'm listening to. But there's still something interesting going on and satisfying about power washing everything.
Nice. Yeah.
And somehow,
we're kind of coming close.
Jordan is still running circles around me in terms of time on that game.
Who is?
Jordan.
Oh yeah, Jordan's got some serious power washing time.
Heck yeah.
I'm just trying to see other games that I played this year.
I did play a lot of Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I probably lost about like 20 hours to that game, maybe more.
About lost. We know where they are.
Well, the thing is,
they're Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, there's a DLC, the Emerald something or other DLC, that because it's on my phone, right? And it's like there's this other DLC. It's like, how do I make any of this work? I don't understand. And I went to go look it up, and I have there's a whole flowchart of what you're supposed to do and at what times you're supposed to do it and all this other shit. And I'm like,
unlocking stuff in Vampire Survivors is can be a little obtuse.
Yeah, and I just finally went like, okay, I think I'm done doing this.
I mean,
played
still,
enough. I'm fine.
20 hours out of a game like that is still pretty good.
Well, I said 20 hours, and I think that's a lie because I realized that every stage is about a half hour long. And if that's true, and if I played 2 at a go, that's an hour. So I've probably played more like 100 hours of Vampire Survivors on my phone.
That is a very different number.
Yeah.
Another game, I think, if it didn't come out this year, then it at least became available to me this year, was World of Goo 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was a huge fan of the first one.
The first one was a lot of fun.
And the second one is also super fun. It's they take things in some cases in kind of a weird direction. I mean, the first one was weird as well, but
Sure.
but it is a lot of fun, and they do a lot of neat stuff with it. If you enjoyed the first World of Goo game, then you will probably like most of the second one. There's at one point, because it goes into sort of weird meta narratives stuff.
Oh, okay.
At one point, the game, like, there's one sort of area where they sort of start using the goos, using the sort of mechanics of World of Goo in unexpected, different, weird ways. And like at one point, there's a couple of levels that are just literally like a point and click adventure game that's like a completely different game.
Huh.
And you
All right.
just like, and you get goo from like talking to people. It's very weird.
At some point, you're like, is this going to turn into another Frog Fractions all of a sudden?
Yeah. There's a slight Frog Fractions feel to it where it's like, oh, they're just going wonky here. But anyway.
Monument Valley 3.
I did play all the Monument Valley games this year.
Yeah. That was good too. It was nice to have the chance to do that. Disappointed that the Netflix is not funding or dropped it or whatever, so I can't keep continuing to play all the DLC as it comes out.
Yeah, they just dropped some DLC. I think it's called The Garden of Life. That's
Monument Harder.
so you for the third one. I think the biggest difference. I mean, they're all their own kind of separate stories and themes and stuff.
Yep.
But the third one's biggest difference is that you pilot a boat
Yeah.
around, which is actually pretty fun to move.
I like the boat thing, yeah.
So you got that going on. It almost kind of feels like there's a bit of a hub world happening
Yeah.
because as you do things, more people kind of show up around and sing things. And did you do any of the extra stuff? Like, I know there's like a person you can go up to. If you go up to them, you will sit beside them.
Yep.
Or you'll sing with them.
Yep. Actually, most people, once I save them, when I realized you can go back and you could see them, I would go back and I'd sit beside them, or I'd be there for whatever. And it's like, I want to do these things because I want to see what happens, and I want to hear the difference in the music, and I want to like see whatever. And I'm like, this is cool. And it never is like, none of that stuff is like, congratulations, you've unlocked a new thing to do. It's just like, congratulations, you sat down. Like, it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
it's not, it's only meant to be environmental, and it's kind of like, this isn't meant to be revelatory, it's just meant to be experiential.
Yeah,
But,
it's
yeah.
the Monument Valley games are kind of like they're kind of I would say a light puzzle game, because for the most part you can probably brute force it, which is sometimes what I do, because the constant thing of like, oh, now my character's upside down, and having to look at this thing where you can see stuff twist and your brain's trying to be like, is it this way or this way? Messes with me a bit. But it does feel like basically you're kind of just walking around a very interesting painting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you like the first one, you'll probably continue to like the other ones. They don't really like, there are some things that change up a little bit. Like in the third, like I said, the third one lets you run around, like ride around on a boat, and has some different visuals that are pretty, but they don't really, there's nothing I think that you can say is like, oh, did you hate the first one? Well, did you want more than that? Well, you're not going to like the next ones. Like,
Yeah, it definitely sort of, and the third one definitely does expand on it has more involved environments, and
Yeah. I think my biggest complaint about all the Monument Valley games is that they don't do enough storytelling. That
it's very like,
and
you just that's sort of trying to sort of atmospherically storytell.
yeah. And so you have to kind of make a lot of inferences as to what's going on. And I feel like, I mean, that's also my complaint about Hollow Knight, is I'm like, there's a lot of, any game that's like, we want you to experience the world in which you're put into, and that's all you get. I'm like, that's great, because that is kind of how like the world works, for the real world works, right? But when it starts to feel like there's depth, but the depth is like you're seeing the depth through like a glazed window. And I'm just like, I can tell that there's so much more supposed to be going on here. I can tell there's so much more that could be explained, or that there's, there's lore to be discussed, or there's like a whole overarching storyline or whatever. And I'm like, and yet you opted to not reveal any of that, or to make it so obtuse that you didn't want to get in. It's like, oh, we have a Bible back in the studio that has a whole description of how this works. It's like, well, why didn't you give us more of that?
Yeah.
Because the
It's
world
like
is
this-
interesting.
This little stick figure clearly has a deep inner life.
Yeah, and
But-
and there's something about
But I'm really having trouble getting into it. Yeah.
there's something about having to inherit the mantle of doing the things you're supposed to be doing in this game, and why is this world kind of like this? And like at least in the third game, the sailing about, and it's like, oh, the world flooded. You have that sense, but it's like, but everything seems to be like the world as it is now is established as a thing on purpose, so you can undo the problem.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't really understand why that is. But
my biggest issue is that the 3 games don't feel like they're connected in any way, shape, or form to me.
yeah.
And I don't mind that in the sense of like, oh, we're telling separate stories, and this is like, it's just the design that maybe is the thing that connects them all or whatever. And I'm like, sure, that's fine. But when it came to the DLC, at least in game 1 and 2, where it just felt like, oh, this is just a completely random other thing.
Yeah. It's just more
that felt
levels.
weird to me, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, why is this not more connected to the?
Yeah, we didn't integrate this as well as it probably could have been integrated.
Yeah.
We didn't try to use it as a means of telling more story or fleshing out a world. We're just like, but this is also a thing, and you're like, but it just actually feels like more levels to me, so I ignore your story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's very pretty, and it's a fun time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did play. I also recently played the Garden of Life DLC for the third one, and I think that one at least kept you with the same character.
Yeah.
And did like a little bit of a thing, and it was pretty good. I actually liked that DLC better than some of the previous stuff, because I think in game 2 they did a piece of DLC that was like 10 or 15 minutes long, which is fine. It's just I was expecting more,
Right.
and so it kind of felt abrupt when it was done. And this piece was the one I just did took me about 2 hours to do, and so it kind of felt like, aha, yes, there's something more interesting going on here.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the the Monument Valley games. I'm glad that they got the third one theoretically because of Netflix.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm also okay with
Netflix
not playing
giveth
any more of them,
and
though.
taketh away.
Yeah.
Like if they make a Monument Valley 4, I'm kind of like, okay,
I feel like maybe
okay. I mean, cool if you do.
like
but
maybe they could try their hand at some other different type of thing.
I mean, I think the reason why they made the second one was because everyone was losing their mind so much about how good the first one was, and I kind of felt like it's like you make a game, you have an idea, and then you leave it all on the floor. Like you're just like it's just like I am spent. Every idea I could possibly have has been dumped into this, and it kind of really Monument Valley felt like that to me. Is like everything we could possibly think of to give you levels that make it feel like this weird kind of toy that you're playing with, that where things line up and they don't line up and like all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, and the satisfaction of going through the doors and whatever. I'm like, okay, you did leave it all out there. You're like, we've presented it, and people are like, we want to play more of this, though. We want, DLC, or we want another game, or we and they're like, okay, well, and at some point they're like, well, let's make a second one, and then they do, and there's this thing of like, it is more of the same. We've discovered maybe a couple more ways to come at these problems, but it is more of the same. But that's what you want. You're like, yeah, absolutely, and I'm like, if they made a Monument Valley 4, I'd be like, I'll play this because I like interacting with what you're doing and trying to, also see what have you come up with as a means of representing this stuff in a new way or a different way or an unusual way. Because if you can't do that, if you're like, we actually have run out of, like, the well is dry and we're not thinking. It's like writing mystery novels, right? It's like, I've run out of ways to come up with new shit, but then 4 years later you're like, oh, but what if this happened? And then you go ahead and you write a new mystery novel.
And I mean, I'm not against a game dev being like, oh, we're making more, or people being excited about more of the same happening.
Yeah.
I just feel like if it's not that different, I don't know that I'm excited.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like I feel like, oh yeah, I've played Monument Valley. I don't need like a fourth iteration that's going to do the same thing but look different.
Yeah. That I think that's also really true. It's like it's one of those things where I'm like, when I heard 3 was coming out, I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll probably play that when that comes out from however it's going to come out, and probably forgot about it for months.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Anyway.
And I mean, the first one, the reason the first one was so cool was, I mean, for one thing, it was the first one. So it's new, it's novel. But it was also one of the first mobile games that was doing something like that.
Yes.
Right? And I played the
And
three.
it worked very well
This year I played on console, and they do an okay job adapting that, right? You move a little cursor around to do the little poking.
Right.
I still think it works best on a touch device.
It's designed for, like, the things are sort of look designed for touching.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. We I guess we sort of gave a bit of a talking about what kinds of things we wanted to what kinds of things we did this year in terms of video gaming, and then also just talked about a lot of other random things, but that's how it goes.
It felt great.
It's the kind of show you get this kind of year, though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's weird. It's like, that is, I also like when this show does that.
Isn't it nice sometimes to just talk about a lot of things you liked?
Yeah. It's fun to go over the stuff that happens in ChillPoint, obviously, and kind of expound upon them more and all that. And it's like, but it's also fun to have moments like this where we can, it's kind of those games we played, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that old podcast. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us on the show, and thanks for supporting us, subscribing, whether you're subscribing on the becoming a member on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. It's the video game channel. And if you're a member of that channel, you will get your name in the credits on ChillPoint. But you can also be a member of any of our other mini YouTube channels, or be a subscriber here on Twitch, or all sorts of other different fun ways that you can connect. You know the drill by now. Sorry, for some reason I'm having some weirdness with my remote connection thing.
That's fair. Did you want to control it from the other room just briefly? Or do you want me to go
I think we should be okay here.
Okay. Cool.
So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us, and talk to all y'all later. Bye.